This is the entrance up there to the Temple of the Moon, which is our next destination. All the way up the top. It's not quite as steep as the Temple of the Sun, but it's another day and we're more knackered, so let's see how we do. Okay, so this is the view back along the Avenue of the Dead that we started at the very far end of that. And as you can see, there's all these temples down each side, and on my left there you can see the Temple of the Sun that we walked up yesterday. And as I pan round, this is kind of a big square in front of the second biggest temple, which is there, the Temple of the Moon. I'll just pan round in a circle. And all of these, I presume, used to have temple buildings on top that weren't as permanent as the foundations, but you can see where they all were. It's quite amazing. And the next challenge in my little exercise yourself to death tour of Mexico is to walk up those steps to the top of the Temple of the Moon, which is only about half the height of the Temple of the Sun, so I should do better than I did yesterday. We'll see how we go. Anyway, hasta luego. So this is the steps that I'm about to climb up, just the first ones, and then when I get to the top there's another whole set. One of these days I'm going to be filming something and then everyone will say, yep, that was the thing that he shouldn't have tried because it was one stair too many. Okay, that's the view down, and as you can see, hardly had any effect on me whatsoever. Just sit here and gradually die a death. And if we zoom in, you'll notice that the other member of our tour group has enough common sense not to have even tried to walk up. How cool is that? And so from here there is a huge flat platform which we'll take a walk around, and then unfortunately, as you can see, the next two sets of steps are closed, so I won't be able to walk all the way to the top. I'm quite sure I'm really upset about that. Not. See you in a minute. Now, sadly, this second and third set of steps you can't go up because they're doing archaeological work on them. But what's interesting is I don't know if this is in the reconstruction, but they've made them out of much darker stone than they did the lower steps. So they stand out, you can probably see it best at this angle, really strongly against this normal stone of the pyramid. If I pan around this way, you can see the steps are really quite dark compared to the face of the pyramid, which is a lot paler. And then this is the view from the right hand side of the Pyramid of the Moon. You can see the tops now of all those lovely little pyramids that we were looking at earlier, and then over the Turistas all the way down the Avenue of the Dead. There's the Temple of the Sun. I'll go over the other side in a minute so you can see the view properly from of the temples on the other side. That's the view from this side. Really quite spectacular. Oh, if only you could go back in time and see what this looked like when it was in use. Probably the most amazing sight. Down below there you can just see the ruins of some buildings that are obviously around the base of the temple here. And that green mound in front of us, one of the things they've said about this site is that there's huge numbers of what's the word? Well, buried, maybe I'll use. Buried temples and other archaeological features that they just haven't got around to digging out of the ground yet. So quite clearly you can see from that one there's a whole temple structure sitting underneath it, just waiting to be dug out. Amazing sight. Right, I'll go over the other side and film some more. See you in a second. Okay, now this is the view from the left-hand side of the Temple of the Moon. And again, you can see the front of some temples here, and interesting, look at the back of that one, it's not been reconstructed yet. And the same with the one behind it, they've both kind of slumped away. And then I'm presuming that lump there, that I'm looking at, is another unexcavated temple. It would be logical, probably that lump behind it is as well. So if you look round, there's the top of the temples on the, I don't know, I've lost my geometry, whether it's south or whatever. So the sun's directly above me. I'll GPS this later. Anyway, so that's again the view of those temples all the way down in Temple of the Sun. And we were told yesterday by one of the local vendors or hawkers or whatever that the priests used to stand at the Temple of the Sun and shout their sermons out to everyone all the way below. Amazing. So that's the view of the steps I'm about to try and walk back down again, probably holding on very tightly to that fence. And then that's the view all the way down the Avenue of the Dead that we're going to end up walking along in a minute to get back to the car. Amazing. In the distance over there, kind of less attractively, but let's just zoom in on it, see if you can see it. You see there's a huge, like, farm of electricity pylons, where I think there's an electricity generation station somewhere over there. Oh. Yeah, somewhere like that. Okay, shutting down now. I'm going to try and get downstairs. Wish me luck. And here in the Palace of Quetzalcoatl, they've reconstructed a roof the way they think it originally was, with the pillars and then the wood beams and then more stone on top. And all of these pillars have got endless carvings on them. But I don't think they're all original because they don't match up. And this here we can see, this is just about the only surviving blue paint. The red's survived everywhere, but you can see along here, you can actually see some blue. Almost everywhere else it's worn out. Fabulous. Okay, this is the view from the top of one of the temples that were to the left of the Temple of the Moon. All the way down to the end of the Avenue of the Dead. That's where we're going to walk in a minute. And this is a mural of a puma that was discovered in 1963, and it's in very good condition. They've put a corrugated iron roof over it to keep it away from the rain. Beautiful.